in the playoff played them in a combined 8 under par, highlighted by Fowler's eagle birdie finish. Any kind of expectations here as to who might be the favorite? It's been more than an hour since Rickie Fowler's been out there, but they take aim at this par 5 16th first, aggregate.
All three players are hot as can be. Rickie had sort of been cooled off for quite a while now. How long it's been? Over
more than an hour. Yeah, he finished at 5:42 local time.
That could be a disadvantage, but he's also sort of collecting himself. So, and then of course Garcia is the best, you would think, but there's something about him that he's a clutch guy. I mean, I could see him playing those last 3 holes 2 under. So I don't know much about Kisner, but I'm impressed with what I've seen. And I know Roger Maltby is like saying, wow.
Yeah, 42nd player. Best day we've ever seen as we show you some of the highlights. Let's check in with Rickie Fowler's incredible finish. He'd already birdied 13 and 15 to get to 8 under, and then this shot at 16 again, reminiscent of Fred Couples back in '96. That could have gone the other way. That could have bounced right.
It could have, but that was a shot of the day right there.
Eagle there for Fowler, moves it to 10 under, and then the tee shot at 17.
Really well under control. He choked down on the club. Just kept it low. This spin.
That just under 7 feet to get it to 11 under. Huge roar here for the popular Fowler at 17.
Really hard putt to read. It breaks towards the back of the green, and he just snuck it in the lower side.
So then he heads to the par 4 18th, and after getting a nice read from Derek Fathauer, had the same line just earlier. Fowler just read it perfectly. So an unbelievable 6 under in the last 6 holes finish. And while he was finishing up, Garcia was over at the 16th. This was his eagle try over at the par 5.
He had a really good second shot off a big hook lie and was able to hold it straight and put it on the edge and putt it down for a short birdie putt.
He was 2 back as he came here to this hole, so that birdie got him within 1. And then at 17, he didn't get the roll down the hill there to get it closer, but no need.
Somehow he read this to break way to the back of the green. You know, you just can't read that, and he did.
And that putt of 43 feet 10 inches was the longest putt he has made this season. So Garcia gets in at 12 under, and then Kisner, who is 2 back, his 3rd at the par 5 16th.
Yeah, that heavy rough to get the right distance control on that was really hard to do, and he knocks it down about 3-4 feet.
So like Garcia, he moved to 11 under 1 back, and then he gets to 17 for birdie.
Plays it straight, and it goes right in the hole.
And then has a great chance after a beautiful drive and an excellent approach. This would have put it away for Kisner.
I think he got a bad break. It sort of kicked right about 2.5 feet off the ball, off the putt, and then it started breaking left. I'm not sure why it did that, but I haven't seen it all day.
So once again, here are the holes. We've been calling them one of the greatest finishes in all of golf, and it's because the wide variety of possibilities, the risk reward, par 5 16th, and then you can't help but take a little look to your right over at the Island Green at 17, where everybody seemingly was pouring in birdies, and then the 18th where Kisner had a chance to end it all. So it's an aggregate 3-hole playoff here. Johnny, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, there certainly isn't a better place in the golf course to go 3 holes and add them up and see who wins.
I mean, this is something else. I've never been involved in a championship that had more people that could get in the playoff or win. And you know, it's great that Rickie set the standard with that 6 under the last 6.
Yeah, that's what you really like about a tournament. You like to have a guy post early, wait, and just kind of add that angle to the drama.
Absolutely. There's nothing better, especially when he hit the number right on the head. You know, you talked about 13 unders, one of the players the last few years. Darn near, I thought somebody might get to 13 after Rickie did, but wow, that's just a wowzer finish.
Yeah, it would have been almost poetic had Kisner rolled that in to match that number, which has been the winning number at 13 under. And by the way, the cut again this year, like in all those 13 under numbers, was even par. So you've got this kind of strange coincidence going with the numbers here at TPC Sawgrass. But Johnny, once again, this golf course and this field proves to be pretty much unbeatable as far as drama goes year after year.
No, this is going to be wonderful. 16, 17, and 18, and there's possibilities. Got eagle possibilities, water possibilities, all kinds of things.
If you look back at Kisner, this was a guy who was +2 after 7 holes in his second round, seemingly on his way to missing the cut. But again, it's the kind of golf course, if you can get there to the weekend, even was the number, you have a chance. And Kisner slowly built his way back into the picture on the weekend and is now with 2 of the biggest stars in the world.
Yeah, I just sort of hold my breath to see, how it goes. Hopefully the players will keep the hammer down and make them lots of birdies and make it exciting.
The more thrills and spills for the PGA Tour this season. This is the 7th playoff in the last 13 PGA Tour events. So once again, playoff drama to decide here the crown jewel of the PGA Tour.
They're all sort of smiling like, wow.
They're still awaiting the arrival of Rickie Fowler. In the meantime, there was another little guy down there that said, "Can you take me along in the playoff, Rickie?" Looking for a little snack at the same time.
Maybe that's good luck.
Maybe I can figure out a way to open up one of these zippers. So now Fowler approaching the tee at 16. Again, he eagled it earlier in regulation. But for the week, Garcia has the advantage at this par 5, playing at 4 under with 4 birdies.
Got Jay Henderson, Price Waterhouse Cooper, Client Services. Jay, Deputy Commissioner, is going to help us here now. Guys, we're going to play 16, 17, and 18 aggregate score. Whoever has the lowest score after that is the fourth champion. If it's tied after that, we're going to go 17, 18, 16, 17, and 18. Okay?
If it's tied, then it's 1 hole.
That's right. It's tied after 3.
It's not 17 and 18.
That's right. If it's tied after the 3 holes, we're going to go 17 first, and then we're going to 18 and then 16. Okay? Now, Rickie, you finish first. You'll draw first. Sergio, you finish
Second.
Yeah, second. You'll draw.
Second.
Okay. Second. There you go. 3. Okay. Kevin, lead off. Gentlemen, play well.
All right, Dan, as you mentioned, 2 recognizable names, one not so much. Sergio Garcia, the 10th ranked player in the world, Rickie Fowler, the 13th, and Kevin Kisner, the 123rd ranked player. And we see how they've played this set of 3 holes. Fowler 6 under, Garcia 6 under, and Kisner just 1 under. Kisner will have the honor. He'll play first.
This is going to flame out to the right. This is going to miss the fairway.
Well, and chances are that will force a layup. Garcia next to play.
This one has started up the right-hand side also and hit it a little bit high.
And that will miss the fairway as well. So, opportunity for Fowler to perhaps jump out in front here with a good drive. Remember, he made 3 here in regulation.
That's all three of them. This well right as well. Maybe the furthest one right.
Okay, so no one able to hit the fairway on the first playoff hole. Garcia, Fowler, and Kisner, 3-hole aggregate playoff to determine the players' champion.
At the first tee, they're teaching us how to set goals. It doesn't matter how big or small they are.
I want to break 80 someday.
Poised again for this encore performance between Garcia, Fowler, and Kisner. As they play that par 5 16th, we'll see who has any kind of opportunity to go for it, Gary.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if any of the three do. And Johnny, now with it being an aggregate playoff, perhaps your philosophy is a little different. In a sudden death playoff, it's usually you have to be aggressive. You have to figure you're going to need to make a birdie right away. But with 3 holes to play,
It's not
being able to afford to play a little more conservatively.
It's not an easy layup when you're in trouble over there.
No, it is not. It's very narrow. If you try to lay up on the left side over there, have to avoid the water, obviously.
And the oak tree.
Yep. Stay far enough back to where the oak tree doesn't have an effect. All right, Roger Maltby, we're hearing that Kisner is away.
He will be first, yes, off the fairway here to the right. He's got 266 to the hole. Ball in the rough here, sitting down some. I don't see any viable opportunity to try and knock it on the green. I think he's going to have to lay it up down the left, and I would expect the same of the other players.
You don't really have to worry about being blocked out. The minimum is going to be 140 cover off the tree. So out in the fairway, it slopes left to right. Talk to me about your target. I'm like a little left of it just in case it comes out dead. Because you have fairway, it'll kick it to the right. No, I think you got the right club.
What you don't want to do here, Gary, is laid up too far down that left-hand side. Then you get locked up by that huge oak tree short off to the green.
Caddy
It's going
liked it.
down the left, yeah, if it's back far enough. Time will tell, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's down there pretty far. All right, Mark, what about Garcia's situation?
Well, it's quite different than Kevin's. His ball is sitting okay in the grass, but he's got a big mound in front of him, directly in front of him, so he's going to need to get the ball up quickly.
No, I don't want to hit one more. I want to hit it there. Which I aim. You see, just lifting the.
You see those divots?
Yeah?
I don't want to aim much farther left than that.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We go. I'll just
Gary,
hit
I
it
don't
hard.
believe he's going to try and hit it as far as Kisner hit his. Okay, it's a mile in the air, but on a good line, nice and straight.
Yeah, and that's well back, so he will have no issue.
Quiet, please. Quiet, please. Thank you.
And last to play will be Fowler, also from the right rough.
Yeah, ball sitting down a little bit, and downhill lie, 257. Same issues for him, just a layup down the left.
Okay, all three players forced to lay up at the par 5 16th, the first hole of the 3-hole aggregate playoff. We'll be back with more in just a moment. The first to lay up after poor tee shots.
Gary, it would appear to me like Sergio Garcia's ball has come to rest in an old healed-up divot. It is not a sand-filled divot, but it's certainly not laying as cleanly has the ball, Rickie Fowler's ball, which is very close to his, just sitting down just a little bit.
Yeah, we've got a good look at it there, Mark, and it definitely is down ever so slightly. Stops dead, so well-played shot from that lie. And Johnny, as you said earlier, no one hits down on the ball any more than Sergio Garcia, so if anybody can play from that lie, it would be him.
You're absolutely right. Look at that stress on the shaft and that right knuckle.
Fowler now with 97 yards.
One of his strengths, 5th on the tour in proximity from 100 yards and less. So that one in there hole high.
The gallery's going to be super pro Rickie Fowler.
And Roger, inexperience perhaps for Kisner?
I would think his first players, and he's laid it up too close to this oak tree now. Has to play underneath the limbs from 78 yards and left of the hole. Going to have to try to chase it up there and use the slope, which he'll do. This is pretty good, about as good as he can hope for.
Well, illustrious champions, as you would expect through the years of this Players' Championship being played for the 42nd time. And some of the recent champions, just to give you a sense of who has won that crystal. Phil Mickelson, Sergio Garcia won it in 08 before he let it slip away a couple of years ago. Henrik Stenson back in 2009. Tim Clark, showing you that players with all sorts of talents can win. He wasn't very long, but he got it done that year. KJ Choi, Matt Kuchar, and then Tiger Woods becoming one of the multiple winners of this championship, and Martin Keimer, the defending champion from Germany, who won this title and the U.S. Open in a span of about a month last year. And if you look at just pure winning experience, Gary and Johnny, I mean, there's no doubt it's tilted big time towards Sergio Garcia's direction. There is Kisner, who's obviously never won on the PGA Tour. Then you got Rickie Fowler, his only PGA Tour win so far in a playoff in the Wells Fargo a couple of years ago, back in 2012, over Rory McIlroy and D.A. points. And then you've got Sergio Garcia, 11 wins on the European Tour, not to mention 8 wins on the PGA Tour, including one here. So winning experience, Sergio big time.
Yeah, but Sergio's last win, Dan, was a good 2.5 years ago on the PGA Tour. There have been some issues since that last win. He's had some chances and hasn't gotten it done, as we watch Kisner putt first.
It's got to turn to his right initially. Doesn't look like it does much around the hole to me.
One of those recent chances, Gary, for Sergio was at Riviera.
Yeah, finished one shot out of that playoff that you're talking about there at Riviera that James Hahn ended up winning.
Gary, this is not going to be an easy putt for Sergio to read. Normally you would think the ball would turn to his left down this close to the water toward the lake, but I don't think this one's going to.
Never online, never hard enough. I'm wondering how many of the fans, Raj, know that this is an aggregate playoff. They may think that Fowler has a chance to win this thing right here.
Good question. I would be interesting if we could quickly poll them. But
it is the first ever
weird noises, yeah,
in this championship.
This has got to go just, I think, a touch to his right from here.
What a good-looking putt that was. I think it had to move just a little to the right. Oh. All right, Kisner the short one for his 5. So all 3 players par the first playoff hole. And they'll take the walk over to 17.
Garcia might have been thinking earlier, Gary, I thought I was done with this hole for the day.
Yeah, we documented what has happened to him here through the years. Good and bad. Have to put the bad out of your mind somehow.
How about all 3 of these players making a 2 there earlier?
Yeah, in the final round. And, of course, Garcia is the most improbable. The 40-plus foot putt.
Again, his longest of the season.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. Kisner will hit first again, as all 3 players made pars on the first hole. So be interesting to see if Kisner remains as aggressive as he's been, since he'll be playing first here. Raj, you've watched him all day. Any reason to believe he won't go right at it?
No, none. In regulation, he tried to use that slope left of the hole and just missed it. Wouldn't be surprised if he went over there again. A little left of the hole, so you can get that slope to take it down to the right.
I just don't like wedge, because if I flush it, it's going to fly freaking green.
The wind has definitely dropped at least 50% from what it was when they went through here earlier.
And it's also changed direction ever so slightly, John. It's now coming a little from the left, which actually is good. It makes it a little easier to play to that whole location than when it was coming off the player's right and helping. Wouldn't be surprised to see some good shots here now.
He did hit the water in the first round, Kisner did.
Gap wedge here. This is just left of the hole.
Beauty. Let's take a look at the shape of this shot using our Pro Tracer technology. Very similar shot to what he hit in regulation, just a little farther right. And now the man with so much history here at 17. that shot. That's twice. Johnny's tried to get that thing to work a little to the right and unable to do it. And he knows.
Both times it checked out right before it got to the rim.
Fortunate it didn't go too far. You're right.
Cap punch here for Rickie.
Let's take another look at this one from above. Amazing that little change in wind direction, John, allows these guys to go right at it. No fear that the ball's going to get knocked down to the left.
Well, Rickie's wedge game is his strength, and he showed it right there going right at it.
And talk about no fear for Fowler at 17 as we trace this latest beauty. He's going to have a chance for his 4th birdie at 17 in 5 trips here this week to the island green.
All right, so all three in very similar spots to where they were in regulation. First it was Fowler who hit it just inside of 7 feet, but looked like it might miss left, but it just snuck in. And then Sergio from almost exactly where he is now, over 40 feet down the slope.
Best putt of his career right there.
Read it absolutely perfectly. And then Kisner from right at hole high, about 15 feet. Little left to right break, and he poured it in.
You're right, Johnny. Fowler is the crowd favorite by far.
Yeah. Starting to get the long shadows now.
Yeah, sunset is at 8:09 as they play this second of the 3 holes, and of course par 4 18th coming up. So you wonder how much golf would be left even if it's not decided after the 18th.
Yeah, the sun is right at the top of the pine trees looking west. So,
well, Johnny, you want to talk about some clutch shots? Rickie Fowler is 6 feet 5 inches from the hole. That is the closest he has hit it here at 17 all week. And Kisner, 9 feet 6 inches, his closest shot all week as well.
It's nice to see.
Yep.
And Gary Garcia is some 38 feet 10 inches, a little bit inside of what he made earlier in regulation. So once again, the old stage at 17 is set.
Rickie's got a similar putt as he did in regulation.
And actually, Johnny, Sergio Garcia's is fairly similar to the one he had. It's a little deeper into the green, but he was back in this back edge.
All right, let's take a look at Garcia's putt using our pinpoint animation. Off the upper level, steeply downhill, moving from right to left.
I know this, the first time he hit the putt from this general direction, it took a long time to go into the hole.
This one's a little low, good speed. Didn't quite play enough break.
It was a nice lag, though.
Well, under normal circumstances, John, I would say you'd probably be relatively pleased with it.
I mean, you can't expect to make
No,
that. I mean,
absolutely not.
That's a good 2-putt.
Didn't expect him to make it the first time he hit it from up there. in regulation.
And again, it's this aggregate. You know, you don't need to just because Fowler's in there close doesn't mean you go, oh, I got to make this, right?
Well, the good news is if you do make birdie and get the lead on the other two guys going to 18, got a great chance to pull it out.
Sure.
So this is an important exchange right here, Gary.
It is, and Raj, this one a little shorter version of the putt he made earlier, maybe a little more break.
I think just a touch. It's a little different angle, not as close to hole high.
Oh, is this man clutch? How about this for a guy who has never won on the PGA Tour? And you know what I like, Johnny? He looks like he expects to do it.
Yeah, that's what I was sort of saying on the 18th hole when he was on the green.
Another look, and Fowler to answer. A little different angle here, John, than he had the first go-round. I think this one will turn a little more to the left. Kisner with a 2. What golf. So Sergio finds himself one shot behind in this 3-hole aggregate playoff as they move to the 18th.
Birdies it for the 4th time this week. And now he goes over to 18 to see if he can pour another one in like he did in regulation to finish off that 6 under in the 6-hole stretch. And Kisner, who had a putt that just grazed the edge that would have put an end to this a long time ago, heads through the tunnel and into the sunlight. We'll see how much sunlight we end up having after this hole.
Well, the 3 of them can't hit the drives they hit at 16 to the right. That's dead over there, unless you're really lucky. So it's all about sucking it up and hitting a good one down the middle like Fowler did.
So Garcia needs to make up some ground here. He is one back after the birdie 2s by Fowler and Kisner. Garcia and Kisner parted in regulation, and as we mentioned, Fowler made the 3.
It's pretty impressive. I mean, Fowler's 7 under the last 8 holes. That's quite a run. But Kisner's looking like a star in the making. He is 31. He's not like Rickie. He's not.
Yeah, Rickie's the youngest in this group by 5 years younger than Kisner. And then you've got Garcia, who is 35.
Well, the good news, this hole has a little more sunlight available than 16 and 17. No trees on the left.
Kisner hit a good one early in regulation. See if he can do it again.
Drawing a pitch, but not much. See if that hangs in there. Ooh, it's going to be just fine, barely. Very similar to the regulation shot.
Right on the edge, good shape. Boy, did he challenge that left.
I mean, what a
and
shot.
Just piped it.
He's hit the fairway and the green now every round that he's played, including this one.
So that makes the task for Garcia even tougher, trailing Fowler and Kisner by 1.
Couldn't see if this was a driver or the 3 medal, but we'll see in a second.
This one should be all right with the fairway metal. Should land softly.
Yes, it does. And so how about those 3 drives?
3 pressure-packed drives.
We play on at the Players' Championship. Fowler and Kisner with a 1-shot advantage over Garcia. Final hole of the aggregate 3-hole playoff. First ever at the Players.
Drive of the entire week, 336 yards.
And Fowler in his 142nd PGA Tour start still hears about it every week. That one win. When are you going to win next, Rickie? 7 runner-ups, 5/3 in the incredible major performance last year. Kisner to play first, Roger.
Yep.
166 left for
Can you pick out a
Kevin
good
Kisner.
card? Yep, you got it.
Staring right into that sun.
Yeah, right into the setting sun, so that is a bit awkward. And there is shadow that has fallen over the flagstick in the front of the green.
Okay.
So it's a bit longer shot than he had in regulation. And he landed it perfectly, just short of the front edge in regulation. And that's just about how precise you got to be to get it really close here now.
Yeah, you do have sideboards, which helps, so you can aim a little right of the flag and get some help from the hill. So this whole location is made to be exciting and make birdies.
Just too short, yeah. This landed dead.
Man, right where he was aiming.
All right, so Garcia is 1 shot behind Fowler and Kisner.
He's got 161 yards to the hole, and he simply has to make a 3. This is going to be hanging out to the right just a little to get a kick.
It's going to get the feed down to the hole a little bit.
It's a very popular spot. That's that crazy putt, but maybe he's learned from it.
Garcia's given himself a chance for certainly what we expect would need to be a 3 to stay alive.
I'm all for this putt.
Yeah, same here.
This is the one that gets close. We're doing just exactly like we did at Charlotte.
All right, all the guy in the right back there.
Yeah, perfect.
Well, Johnny, the aggressive play with the driver has paid off. Just 110 left.
Good.
You heard him refer to the one that he hit in Charlotte. Stuck it within 4 feet on the first playoff hole to put it away.
It's right of the hole. Oh, that is not good from there.
And Fowler's farther than anyone after making the longest drive.
He had great intention and recollection of the great shot at Charlotte, but didn't quite pull it off. You know, the ball starts going a little shorter this time of day, and the wind has switched slightly. It used to be dead downwind. Now it's sort of down and to the right. So I don't know if the players picked up on that, but the balls just aren't going to go as far.
Well, regardless of what happens here, Garcia, who needs to figure out a way to make up a shot on Fowler and Kisner, he is going to become, Sergio, the first player to record 5 top 5 finishes on the Players Stadium course. So we've talked about it all week, how good Sergio has been on this stage, and once again he has proved it. He let one get away a couple years ago to Tiger with what happened at the green at 17, but not many players have played this championship on this course better than Garcia in recent years.
Well, time will tell, but it looks like
not going to have to make that.
We're going to go to the island green after this.
And that is when it would turn into sudden death.
Get her out, Rick.
Sergio's got to get in the mix with a miraculous,
Put it out.
probably birdie. You're going to have to make birdie.
Fowler's away, and how tough of an up and down is this, Raj?
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't call it a tough up and in. He's going to chip this ball, which I think, if you're trying to make it, Johnny, I think that's your best chance. But it's going to be downhill and moving from his right to left.
Yeah, he's thinking of making it. I can tell you that. He's not thinking about the up and in. You do want to picture the ball just getting to the hole and falling in. You don't want to be thinking, well, I got to make it, knock it 6 feet by. So just back to basics. Nice little brush.
You certainly don't want to gift one to Kisner and have a par be perhaps the winner.
Yep.
So Fowler just cozies it up. So we know that Kisner is going to have another chance here at 18 to win it.
Yeah, twice he's going to have a putt to win it, regardless of what Garcia does.
Because there is the situation after the first two of the aggregate 3. Fowler and Kisner tied. So best Fowler can do is be 1 under through the 3 holes. Kisner could get this down and win it.
Well, obviously longer than the putt he had on the 72nd hole, but pretty much on the same line. So he should have a real good idea what it does around the cup.
Second chance for Kisner to become only the 3rd player to make this championship his first PGA Tour win. Is it going to get there? How close has Kisner come twice at 18?
Very impressive.
All of about an inch with 2 attempts. Grazed the right edge in regulation for birdie. And this looked like it might want to just topple in there to the left, Johnny.
Just lacked a little bit of speed. It was looking good right there. If it had speed, it was in.
Needed more. So now with Fowler and Kisner in there with pretty much with 4s, Garcia has to make this to join a sudden death.
He knows pretty much what this putt's going to do now, not dissimilar from a little while ago.
So Sergio Garcia with a tap-in 4 at 18 came into this hole, 1 back of Fowler and Kisner, and so Fowler just to clean up the par. To get it to the 17th. So the first 3-hole aggregate playoff, not yet enough to decide it. Sergio will exit, and Fowler and Kisner will head back to 17 for a sudden death meeting there. And if it's not settled there, they'll go to 18 with the sudden death still in effect. So Garcia is the first player to lose 2 aggregate playoffs on the PGA Tour. Remember back at the 2007 British Open at Carnoustie to Padraig Harrington. Stinging defeat for Sergio as he tried to win that elusive major. And Garcia exits here, and they head back to the par 3 17th. And while they do, we sit it down to Mark Rolfe.
Thank you, Dan. Sergio, you just walked after that putt and had a big old smile on your face. What do you take away from today?
Well, I think, Mark, I think it was a solid week. Taking away the way I putted the first 3 days. Today I putted nicely, but the way I putted the first 3 days to even have a chance, I think it was a big effort. But I felt like I played nicely. Obviously, a couple of shots here and there. But other than that, I hit a nice putt there. now on 18. I thought it was going to break a little bit more, but you know, it's another great week here at the Players, so I can't complain.
You've got a stretch of very important golf tournaments coming up ahead of you. Will this propel you maybe to go ahead and really start playing well the rest of the summer?
I don't know. I hope so. Obviously, it's been a little bit of a funny year for me so far, but you know, I saw a lot of good things this week, a lot of positive things, and hopefully I can take a lot of those things into the rest of the season.
Congratulations on another great show at the stadium course.
Thank you.
Dan?
Thank you, Mark. Indeed, another good week for Sergio Garcia, who comes up short. And we head back to the Island Green with Fowler and Kisner. We're going to show you how they played the 17th in the 3-hole aggregate, and this is where the birdies came for Kisner and Fowler, which eventually got them back to this hole in just a couple minutes.
It looks like it's a perfect club for Kisner. He's just hitting a full wedge in there, I think it is, and it's just perfect for him.
And then Rickie Fowler.
Rickie's hitting about just an under a full shot, grip down, gap wedges.
So Garcia missed his lengthy birdie try. Kisner stepped up there and read it perfectly. Speed break right on the money.
That's a tough spot. That broke about 14 inches to the right, and then this spot here was well read, pretty straight, maybe right edge.
And when that fell, Fowler had birdied this 4 of the 5 times in his trips through that Island Green at 17. Gary, you can't go home yet.
Not yet. And there are a lot of fans that haven't left either.
Well, they got up to this tee pretty fast, Gary.
Well, this is where the previous playoff system started. Sudden death right back here at 17. We already talked about how Garcia beat Paul Godas back in 2008, sudden death on this hole, so we're right back to sudden death at the Island Green.
And they both have birdied the hole twice today, regulation and in the aggregate playoff. So I would expect nothing different. I'm sure they will go right at it again.
Well, there is a hiccup. It'll be interesting to see who does it.
Roger, you have to be impressed how both men have played this hole.
Yes. And the conditions are just exactly what they were when they played it last. So I'm sure this is a gap wedge. And the same thoughts in his mind as he just had 20 minutes ago or so. Just left of the hole.
Just carries the bunker and takes that big kick forward. Very similar to what we saw with Ben Martin in regulation. Take another look from above at this one.
I think it is playing a little longer now with the sun going down, Gary, because he hit that dead flush.
Temperature's a little lower than it was earlier in the day as well.
This is right of the hole. Oh, no. This is dangerous.
Okay, no, it's good now, Roger. It's within 4 or 5 feet of the hole.
People are going crazy.
Another look from above at this one. Never a doubt. Going right at it the whole way. A little right of the hole. And here's the pro tracer of the trajectory. And you think the fans aren't pulling for Rickie Fowler? Look at this. Fowler's tee shot less than 5 feet from the hole, 4 feet 8 inches.
And Gary, we have spent so much time through the years talking about heartbreak on this par 3 17th and how it's ruined time and time again So many chances of winning this Players' Championship, but Rickie Fowler has owned this hole. He is in line for what would be his 5th birdie in 6 trips through the island green at 17 this week.
And Danny, with the finish that he put on in regulation, if he were to make this, it would be 8 under par for his last 10 holes played. I know one thing, Raj, the fans that have stayed, they have seen quite the show. I'm not sure Roger can hear me down here amongst the people. They're making so much noise. What a setting.
Yeah, this is great. Kisner is showing a lot of moxie, I'll tell you that. He's got a putt that I don't think he's ever hit in his life going down there from behind the hole, though.
Well, certainly, you know, you kind of have an idea when you play your practice rounds where the hole locations will be, especially if you've paid attention through the years. But I agree, Johnny. I'm not sure you'd practice one from behind and right of the hole.
Hey, Gary, we just got this report that Rickie's mom, remember the Mother's Day little thing that we showed you earlier, just got a report that his mom and sister were checking in at the Jacksonville airport for their San Diego flight when one of Rickie's college coaches texted them and told them about this incredible late round charge that he had in regulation, 600 in the last 6 holes. They checked their bags and watch, and after Rickie birdied 17, they decided forget it. They abandoned their flight and bags, got a courtesy car from the tournament, drove back here to TPC Sawgrass, and are here somewhere on the property watching this. I don't know if they are watching this in person, but they are watching this happen right now with Rickie with a chance to win here.
Okay, Kisner putts first, and Raj, we've got it at about 12.5 feet, something like that.
Yeah, and it's got to move to his left. And it's not the same putt he's had the last couple of times, so a different look for him.
Yeah, this one will move a pretty good bit, and if not struck solidly, it can duck left under the hole.
His mom, Lynn. And there is his girlfriend, Alexis Randock. Rickie's sister also here, 4 feet 8 inches away from a Players' Championship title. In 6 trips around it. So often a dream crusher. Fowler absolutely delivered down a stretch of holes here at TPC Sawgrass like we have never seen before. And on this Mother's Day, coming from the Fowler camp, mom, girlfriend, sister Taylor Fowler. Overrated? Think again. And happy Mother's Day. is worth turning the car around and coming back out. Let's go down to Steve Sands.
All right, thank you. With the champion in 2015 of the Players, Rickie Fowler, you were down there on the back nine. How were you able to turn it around so quickly and get yourself into that playoff?
Like I told you earlier, I kind of just had to wait to push that button. I told you earlier that the 9-iron and the putt on 13 was big, but I actually got a tough break in the bunker off my tee shot on 12, and to make 4 there kind of gave me some momentum moving forward, and then we took advantage of that, and big afternoon.
You win it here on perhaps the most famous hole in golf, which you played so beautifully all week long. How were you able to handle the pressure in that 3-man aggregate playoff and then the extra hole?
I felt really good all week. My games felt very good. I struggled a little bit the last 2 days, just fairways and greens, but I've had a lot of confidence coming off of last week, and pretty fun. This is special. What were you thinking when you were standing on the 17th tee this last time? Well, I knew Kiz was going to hit a good shot. He made a great swing in there. He's been swinging it great, and he hit a good shot. I mean, he got a little bit of a tough break when it landed on the downslope, kicked forward, and I knew he was going to have a chance of making that putt. He's been rolling it good, so had to take advantage of my opportunity there. As popular as a figure you are, not just in golf but in sports, you've had some detractors lately saying that it's about time you step up and win a big one. What does this say to those people? I'd say this is a pretty big one, so I'm happy about the week. This is something we want to look back on for sure. Congratulations on the win, Rickie. Thanks, Steve. Dan, back upstairs to you.
Rickie Fowler saves his best this week for the biggest stage on this course and one of the biggest in all the world. He goes 8 under in the last 10 holes he played today. Back with more and the champion Rickie Fowler in a moment.